Hey, what's up YouTube? Here's yet another video by Ratchets and Wrenches, and today I'm going to show you how to remove and replace the motor mount, lower motor mount on this 2003 Chrysler PT Cruiser with the 2.4 liter non-turbo engine. And just to quickly go over the motor mount locations on this 4-cylinder car. Well, usually on the 4-cylinder front wheel drive vehicles you got 3 motor mounts. You got one on the front, one on the back, one on the passenger side, and then you have a transmission mount where it connects the transmission on the driver's side to the body. But not if Chrysler has anything to say about it. On this car you got 3 motor mounts all on the passenger side, and then you have one transmission mount on the transmission driver's side. And you got one upper motor mount, which is this guy right here, which looks to be in good shape. And then you have a center motor mount where it's going to be hard to show you, but it's that guy right there. It bolts to the body on this side, and then it connects to the motor mount bracket on the engine side. And then you have a lower right side motor mount, which I will show you right after I jack up the car and place it on jack stands. Okay, so before we go any further, just to make a note on how you could you would know if you have a bad motor or transmission mount, or you suspect a bad motor or transmission mount. Some of the signs are basically you're at the complete stop and your car is in gear, either in park or reverse, and then you feel a vibration inside the car. Okay, or if it's really bad, if it's the mount is completely gone, you could also feel it driving. When the transmission shifts gear, you feel a kind of a kick, which some people might mistake as a transmission kick, but it's actually your mount. And also, don't mistake your transmission issue with a bad transmission mount, okay? But anyway, yeah, basically you feel a lot of vibration inside the car. Car is in gear, it's in park or reverse. You feel vibration inside the car. You could also feel it in neutral, but it's more noticeable when the car is in gear. Basically what happens is, if you look at a mount, this is our motor mount for this car. The rubber inside this mount, which connects this piece to the rest of the mount, basically tears, and then it's not holding it firm, and then the bolt goes through here that connects this to the engine. And basically the vibration from the engine is transferred directly to the frame and to the rest of the body, and then you feel it inside the car. And but just to throw something out there, I worked on Subarus and Volkswagens and some Audis where you had the same kind of vibration. You could feel it inside the car. It was more pronounced when it was in gear, but it was not the motor mount or transmission mounts. It was actually the CV joint. What happens on those cars, if you replace the CV joint with a non-OE CV joint, they just don't work as good, and then you get that vibration, which is exactly like a bad motor or transmission mount inside the car. And you feel it in gear, you don't feel as much in neutral, all the same symptoms. So you either want to get a visual confirmation of a bad mount before you replace it, or you can actually do this, which I'm going to show you too, and this will help kind of narrow it down to bad motor transmission mounts too. Okay, so here's the other way you can check for bad motor mounts. It's basically you get in the car, you put the emergency parking brakes on, and you turn the car on. You put your left foot on the brake pedal, turn the car on, keep your foot on the brake pedal, put the car in gear, put it in drive. And then with your left foot is still on the brakes, you just tap the gas pedal. And then you either, if you can, look at the engine from inside the car, which is going to be really hard on this car. Or you have a helper do this and you get outside the car and check the engine for movement, which I'll show you in a bit. And then yeah, you can do it, and you do this in drive and in reverse, okay? And now in reverse. Okay, so as you saw, we had some excessive play, especially when the car was in drive. You could see this side moving up way too much, and so yeah, I mean that kind of basically tells you got a problem with your motor or transmission mounts. And the transmission mount for this car, it's on that side underneath the battery. I got a video on how to replace the battery temperature sensor on this car, and when I replaced that, I inspected the transmission mount on that side and it's okay. So basically we're on to our transmission our motor mounts, and this one on top, you can you know, I got a mirror here on the side, inspected those rubber parts, they're in good shape. The one in the middle, which is well, basically you can't really inspect it visually. That one's best replaced when you're doing a timing belt job on this car. I would replace that, I would treat it like a water pump, you know, better safe than sorry, because these are kind of hard cars to do a timing belt job on, and I've actually never done one on these, so you want to keep that in mind. But the lower one, we can inspect visually, and in order to do that, we're gonna jack up this side of the car, place it on jack stand. Before you jack up your car and place it on jack stands, make sure you apply your emergency parking brakes and block your rear wheels, okay? Okay, so with this side on jack stands, we're gonna dive right underneath our car. And here is a look at our lower motor mount on this car, and right away you can see the rubber is torn here, and maybe, oh yeah, actually it's completely torn. It's completely torn on this side, torn here, and probably torn on the top part too. This is actually going to be pretty easy to replace. You got just one bolt here that connects it to this side of this bracket that goes into the engine, and then you got that there that connects it to the frame. Okay, and you know, actually I'm going to get in the car and do that test we did with the car in the park and the car in gear and then tapping the gas, so you can see actually how much movement there's going to be here. All right. Okay, so as you saw, there was just a whole lot of play here with the car in gear and then revving the engine. And you know, if you leave these, if you got a bad motor mount, like this motor mount is bad, if you drive like this for a long time, this is going to affect your other motor mount or motor or transmission mounts and going to ruin them. So, you know, I don't know how, I know the top motor mount and the transmission mount on this car are good, but you know, I can't really tell how bad is the center motor mount that's on this side. So just gonna hope replacing this is gonna solve our vibration issue. It's gonna definitely help, but I don't know if it's gonna completely make it go away. But yeah, you know, if you repair this and then you still have a lot of vibration, then you might want to start at your center or, you know, other motor transmission mounts. Okay, so before we start disconnecting a motor mount, we want to jack up the engine and support it. Basically, you just get a piece of wood, preferably a 2x4, but I can't find mine right now, and you just lift. You just raise the jack until it's, you just need to support it. You don't need to lift the engine that much. Okay, that's plenty right there. Okay, in order to remove this mount, there's a 50mm nut on the frame side that connects this motor mount to the body, which is also holds in place this stabilizer looking bar that goes up and connects to the body on top. There's another 50mm that we need to remove. Okay, there we go. There's also a washer here. Okay, actually there's another nut underneath this stabilizer bar that's holding this bolt in, so we're gonna actually unbolt this stabilizer bar from there and completely remove it. Oh, it's got a bolt on top. It's also a 15 millimeter. And actually, we don't need to completely remove that bolt. Just loosen it and then lift this out and push it away. Okay, and this nut on this side is 18 millimeter, for which you'll need a long socket for. And also there's a splash shield here. I don't know if it was cut off on this side. It's definitely has been cut here, torn up here, so you might have to remove the splash shield when you go to do this job. Okay, and yeah, this is one of those nuts that are actually welded onto the connected to the bolt, so that all makes sense now. Alright, so yeah, and this screws onto the other side here. That guy right there. Yep, this screws into that and holds this side into the, connects the motor mount to the frame on this side. Okay, now remove this front bolt. You'll need an 18 millimeter socket. There's also probably on yours there's a splash shield here, but on mine it's all torn up. So you're probably gonna have to remove that. Okay, and unbolt this. Okay, there we go. Here it comes, and there is our bad motor mount. Okay, and here's a look at our motor mount. As you can see, it's gone, it's shot. And actually, this might be able to just take this out if I. Yep, I mean, it's not gonna take much more to completely tear this up, but luckily we have a nice new motor mount. There's like zero play here, and just wanna make sure there's length and everything. One thing we're gonna have to move over is this little piece, which is gonna require a T30 Torx bit. This guy right here. Okay. Okay, so in order to put this back, we just slide the back side in first. As such. Make sure you line it up. And then you get this bolt to go in. And then you start screwing it in. But before you completely, make sure you turn it a couple of threads that I'm doing now. But then you want to line this up, so this way you make sure you don't, they're not misaligned when if you put one side in completely and tighten it down, and then you might have a problem lining up the other side. But if you just put just turn it a couple turns on each bolt, you can always just adjust a little bit. You have wiggling room, and then you can turn these in. There's a little tab that's protruding on this side than the engine side. Make sure the rubber piece for your mount is behind that, so this is not getting stuck there. Okay. All right, now we just tighten this down. I don't know the torque spec for these, but I'm just gonna go by experience. You can just, I'm sure you can just do a quick Google search and find out. There's this side. Get the stabilizer bar back on here, and this washer, and this nut. Okay, last but not least, this bolt that connects the stabilizer bar to the body. Okay, next we can remove our jack. Okay, so with our new motor mount in place, we're just going to lower the car and go for a test drive. Hopefully our shaking issue, vibration issue has gone away. If not, you might have the other mounts that are worn. That center mount could have been damaged, especially since this mount we just took out was really bad. Whenever it's you got a really bad mount, it's going to put extra strain on the other mounts and wear them out prematurely. So you want to keep that in mind too. But yeah, hopefully this will solve your shaking problem. And if you like this video, just give it a thumbs up. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.